Ladies and gentlemen, just give them a wonderful round of applause.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Chibuike Amechi, represented by the Commissioner for Information, Mrs. Ibim Semenitari, the representative of UNESCO DG, Dr. Joseph Ungu, Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, Pa Gabriel Okara, Chief Elechi Amadi, Professor Nimi Briggs, Professor E.J. Alagwa, Professor Fake, our guest authors, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to stand before you today to welcome you to this wonderful city of Port Harcourt and to the Garden City Literary Festival 2012. This year's festival is special for several reasons. It's our 5th outing. We're looking at the topic of women in literature with a focus on Africa. This broad theme is interesting because it allows us to examine the work of women who are operating in the literary space: writers, publishers, booksellers, literary critics. We'll also be looking at what women write about and how relevant female writing is to our modern world. And we'll be looking at the way women are portrayed in literature. To tackle this exciting topic, we're joined by authors, critics, scholars, and the reading public. We welcome our main guest writers, Veronique Tajo, the Ivorian poet, songwriter, playwright, and scholar. Doreen Biangana, author of Tales from Entebbe from Uganda. Chibundu Onuzo, the talented young author of The Spider King's Daughter. And Nor Saruwiwa, author of Looking for Transwonderland, Travels in Nigeria. In addition, we have a brilliant lineup of workshop facilitators, discussants in the symposium and seminars, exhibitors at our book fair, and of course our visitors who are the backbone of this festival. We're also pleased to be presenting our book, Nigerian Literature, A Coat of Many Colors, which is a coffee table book highlighting the works of 50 prominent Nigerian authors, some of which are here with us. We are grateful that the foreword to this book is written by no less than President Jonathan, while the introduction is written by Rivers State leading literary connoisseur, Governor Rotimi Amechi. We hope this work will be a valuable contribution to Nigeria's literary heritage. There's another reason why the Garden City Literary Festival 2012 is important. This year, our beloved city of Port Harcourt has been chosen to be UNESCO World Book Capital 2014. This is both an honor and a challenge to our city, and we stand on the platform of our 5th festival to announce our nomination to the world. Port Harcourt has exciting times ahead. Over the years, we have featured writers of this great city, such as Elechi Amadi, Gabriel Okara, Igoni Barrett, Kaine Agari, and Chimeka Agari. On this occasion, those of them present will join us in the symbolic unveiling of our beloved city as UNESCO World Book Capital 2014. This city has previously welcomed literary legends, Professor Soyinka several times, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Kofi Awono, Ama Taido, J.P. Clark, and their younger counterparts like Chimamanda Adichie, Sefi Atta, Helen Habila, Adobe Wombani, and Zainab Jallo for various literary programs. Last year, we even had the privilege of hosting 2 important world figures as guests of honor. Chief Emeka Anyaoku, the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, was here, and so was the Reverend Jesse Jackson, the American civil rights activist. But for every big name, there are several others, not so well known, but very important men and women, boys and girls, being groomed on this platform. It is our desire that the festival will continue to be a platform for the expression and exposure of writers, as well as a place where all players in the book chain industry, from the readers to the writers, publishers, are able to meet, network, exchange ideas, and do business. The vision that I hope we all share for Port Harcourt is of a city where literary talent is nurtured and where reading and writing is a norm. A city where aspiring writers are encouraged to soar to new heights. A city where the writer is free. We have said before that our work is a double-edged sword. reading and writing. If you take a look at the Garden City Literary Festival logo, you'll see that it has a map of Africa in it, with light emanating from Port Harcourt to the rest of Africa. This portrays the vision of the Rainbow Book Club to use literacy as a tool for development on this continent, beginning here in Port Harcourt. A reading people is a thinking people. In a reading society, a thinking society, when we see a broken down fuel tank, we do not take our buckets and go there to fetch petrol to sell for little money. A thinking person knows that this is a dangerous thing to do, as a single match can start a blaze that can kill dozens of people in minutes. A reading society is a thinking society. In a reading society, when ravaging floods turn our country into one vast swimming pool and our possessions are floating away before our eyes and we realize our livelihood is threatened, society as a whole come together to find a solution, to find a way to survive. If 4 boys between the ages of 18 and 20 in your community are accused of antisocial behavior, like stealing a laptop and a BlackBerry phone, or even more serious allegations like cult activity, what would a thinking society's response be? Faced with such a situation, the thinking society would realize that suspects are entitled to a fair hearing in a court of law. And if found guilty, then those suspects will pay the penalty according to the law. A reading society will not drag those 4 suspects through the streets, beat them up, strip them naked, pour petrol on them, and burn them like logs of wood. The reading society does not take the law into their hands and kill people without mercy. No, that is not the response of a reading society. That's not the response of a thinking society. Some people say this is a result of poverty, and they ask, does reading put food on the table? The link between reading and prosperity lies in the fact that we live in a knowledge economy. To cope with the demands of our present world, developing our human capital is essential, and reading is a sure way to access information, and information is power. Information exposes us to stories and examples of others from which we can learn how to improve on our lives. More importantly, information opens doors that leads even the poorest people to new horizon. Reading brings light, and that's why our logo has light, starting from Port Harcourt to the rest of Africa. When light comes, darkness is dispelled, and the society can develop. This is the task at hand. With Port Harcourt being nominated UNESCO World Book Capital 2014, the world has its eyes on this city, and we must stand up to the call to be a beacon to the world. This is a call to our humanity, a call to you and I. We must work together to show the world that we are indeed a reading and a thinking people. In 2005, I quoted the saying that if you want to hide something from a black man, you should put it in a book. I don't agree with the designation black, but this is not the occasion to postulate my personal ideology. I will repeat what I said in 2005 in this hotel, and that is that by the time the Rainbow Book Club finishes with its work, the world will have to find somewhere else to hide information from the black man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Port Harcourt, UNESCO World Book Capital 2014. Welcome to the 5th Garden City Literary Festival. Welcome to the road towards a thinking society. God bless the city of Port Harcourt. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a welcome address by His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, here represented by the Commissioner for Information. So a round of applause once again for Mrs. Ibim Semenitari, please.
You're welcome. Our own Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, and his lovely wife, the representative of the DG of UNESCO, the country rep, the sages of our city, our pride, our own colossus, Captain Eluchiamadi, Pa Gabriel Okara, Pa Alagwa, our younger and indeed our pride for today, and I see Goni Barrett is here, the very respected writers who have come to celebrate the 5th Garden City Literary Festival with us, Veronica, and the others, the Vice Chancellor of the River State University of Science and Technology. Let me not attempt to do all the other protocols and just say, very, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'll apologize on behalf of the Governor of River State, who isn't here. I'm sure that everyone in this hall knows how very dearly he holds the arts, being himself, in many ways, he would say, a failed writer, but he still plans to make amends there. He did have to leave yesterday evening to Abuja to attend a meeting, and as chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, he couldn't be absent at that meeting. But he's asked me to try and stand in. He's also told me what to say, so even though he's not standing here, please take his words as being spoken by him. Put a pair of trousers on me, put a jacket on me, and just imagine that there isn't a long hair, and I'm sure you'll see the governor speaking to you. Also, consider me half this size, and everything will be fine. The vision of the Garden City Literary Festival was to bring back the book. Literature and the arts is more than a question of recreation and entertainment. I believe it's about a people's culture. It's about development. It's about a restoration of values. It's about society itself. For me, I believe that literature restores values. Books help even the poorest of the poor to move from their present state to a world full of opportunities and numerous possibilities. Mindset is changed, new values are embraced, dreams come to life, and yes, everything becomes possible. This is my personal experience. It is my reality. With my background, my life story would have been much different, but for literacy and but for books. I was raised in a very poor neighborhood in Diop, and I think most of those in this room know Diop. And most of you have heard my story. I was the only child of my parents to have gone to school. Today, I'm governor because I read. My worldview and governance principles have been developed in my library. I dream because I read. This is what informs my determination to leave behind a legacy of literacy at the end of my tenure. This is also the reason we have made the kinds of investments we have made in education. And this morning, I think we saw that investment pay off when we watched the children. The children you saw, that orchestra, is not from a private school. They're not children of the rich and famous. They're children in River State public schools. They're children who go to school in our public schools, paid for by government. Their uniforms are bought by government. Their sandals, their books, and everything else. It's free tuition. It's free everything. And the reason government has done that is because we believe that every child has a right to an education. And not just an education, but good quality education. We are thankful for the recognition of Port Harcourt as UNESCO World Book Capital for 2014. But this is just the beginning. Undoubtedly, this recognition is a major milestone in our Bring Back the Book campaign. We must now build even more aggressively and with greater determination. Our focus is to return our city to its pride of place as the home of literature, culture, and the arts. As we unveil our city today as the UNESCO World Book Capital for 2014, we would like to celebrate the writers of our city, our colossus. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am certainly not a writer, but today really is for the writers. Today is also for all of us, those who read. And let me, on that note, welcome you to the beautiful city of Port Harcourt, to the wonderful state of Rivers, a state that is full of possibilities, a state that is full of opportunities, a state that says we can dream and we can get there. Thank you very much.
On behalf of UNESCO, I am honored to join you for the 5th Garden City Literary Festival and today's public announcement of Port Harcourt designation as World Book Capital 2014. Allow me first to extend my warm congratulations to the authorities and citizens of Port Harcourt. An international jury of eminent figures in the field of publishing has selected your fair city for this prestigious designation. And I quote, on account of the quality of its programs, in particular its focus on youth and the impact it will have on improving Nigeria's culture of books, reading, writing, and publishing to improve literacy rates. In April 2014, Port Harcourt will be the first African city to serve as World Book Capital City since UNESCO created this program in 2001. As a result of this prestigious distinction, Port Harcourt will assume a prominent role among the global community